Can your marriage survive infidelity? Hi, I'm Sharon Pope. I am the love and relationship coach that helps women and occasionally a few brave men who are struggling in their disconnected marriages know whether they should stay or go. If you like what you hear on this channel, I hope you'll subscribe. That way you will get all of the videos that I come out with that will help bring you to greater clarity in your struggling relationship. This week, we're talking about surviving infidelity. Now, I understand that when we're talking about those words, surviving infidelity, most of the time we interpret that as, can the relationship survive infidelity? And what I want you to know is that you personally need to be able to survive infidelity, regardless of whether or not you choose to remain in this relationship or not. Obviously, if you choose to remain in this relationship, you have to be equipped to be able to survive infidelity and move on from it. But also, if you choose to leave the relationship, you personally have to be able to survive that infidelity because you don't want to carry any of that hurt or blame or mistrust forward into future relationships, unintentionally sabotaging them. All right, so I want to give you 3 things today that will help you, whether you are the one that was cheated on or you're the one that did the cheating, to be able to survive infidelity. The first of which, here's what goes on. Most of my clients either are the product of an affair or they've been in an affair themselves. And what everyone wants to focus on when there's an affair is they zone in just on that one thing, that is now the problem. That is the source of all pain. And so here's what I want you to hear me on this. Affairs do not happen in loving, connected, committed relationships. The relationship was broken before the affair began. Otherwise, the affair would not have happened. And if you only focus on the affair, you miss the opportunity to fix what was broken that made the relationship vulnerable to the affair to begin with. And if you don't fix that, even if you, as a couple, survive the affair, it will happen again because you never fixed the root cause. You just sort of dealt with the affair. The affair is a symptom of something else, and certainly it does make the relationship worse. Now we have the original issues that were going on in the relationship that made it vulnerable, and now we have an affair stacked on top of it, for sure. But if you only focus on the affair and not what was broken before that, you totally miss an opportunity to heal what really needs to be healed inside of that relationship. Either healed or at least understood so that you can make a decision on whether or not you want to remain in this relationship. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you is if you are the one that has been cheated on, I know that nowadays it is our inclination to ask for all the details. I want to know everything. Where did you see them? Where would you meet? What would you do? How would you do it? It's almost like self-sabotage, or like I call it cutting. Like if you were cutting your arm, like tell me all the details. Like there is a very real pain there that once you see that, once you have that image in your mind, there's no getting rid of it, right? So when our mothers found out that their husbands were having an affair, what they found was a receipt in a coat pocket, or they found lipstick on a collar, or they smelt perfume on a shirt. Nowadays, what we get to see when there's an affair, hundreds of text messages, emails, instant messengers, pictures, and then all the things that they tell you. So I once had a client who I'll refer to as Alex. She was one of these people that wanted to know all the details about her husband's affair, and they had been married almost 30 years. Honestly, they were an adorable couple. But she wanted to know all the details. And he kept holding back and wouldn't tell her. And she kept asking and asking and asking. And because he genuinely wanted to try to make it work, eventually he told her. And she regretted it. Because now she has all these images running through her mind that she can't just get rid of. That was one of the relationships that really saddened me, because I felt like they could have survived that. But because she kept asking and asking and asking for more and more detail, eventually he gave it to her. And once you know something like that, you can't unknow it. So be careful about what you ask for. The third piece of information in terms of surviving infidelity, whether you are the one that was cheated on or you are the one that was having the affair, if you want to remain in this relationship and give it any kind of an opportunity to feel good again, you have to be transparent. The person who broke the trust now has to rebuild that trust. And so often what I see with my clients, or my clients and their husbands, let's say their husbands have an affair, because I deal with mostly women in heterosexual relationships, the husbands are on good behavior for several weeks. They're sort of laying it on thick. They're being super helpful. They're being super sweet. They're writing little love notes and flowers and cards and all of these things, which is lovely. Like, I'm not saying don't do those things. But then they get to the end of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and they think she should just be over it by now. I mean, after all, look at all these things that I've done. I've really been trying. And he has. But there is no magic number for when a woman is going to just get over it. Like, it's somewhere between more than a week and less than a lifetime. And everyone processes things differently. But the more transparent you are, if you are the one that has broken the trust, the more transparent you can be with your spouse, the quicker they will be able to trust you again. And so here's what that looks like. You come through the door and you're offering your phone. Here you go. There's no password, or she knows the password. She can look through whatever she wants to look through. Phone records, Facebook, instant messenger, whatever. You have to rebuild that trust by being completely open and transparent. And he or she will have lots of questions, and you need to be able to answer those. Unless, of course, they're the intimate details of things that she may not want to really know. So when someone has broken the trust, it is totally and completely on you to now reestablish that trust. And there's no magic number, no matter what kind of good behavior you're on. If you want to remain in that relationship, it's going to take however long it's going to take. Obviously, you don't want to hang on to it for a lifetime. That's completely destructive for you, for them, for the relationship. That's not a great idea. But it's also probably not going to be just a few weeks, right? So here's what I want you to know. Sometimes people will ask me, how do you get over an affair? And what I will tell you is that actually you don't. You don't just get over infidelity, but you can survive infidelity. You can make peace with infidelity. You can make peace with your partner betraying you. Because there are lots of types of betrayal inside of a relationship. And maybe this one hurt more than the betrayal of when you were sharing intimate details about your relationship with friends or your mother or whatever. But there are little betrayals all the time in our relationships. This happens to be a bigger one. So you know that saying, forgive and forget? Well, I am a big fan of forgiveness. I am not as much of a fan of forgetting. So I think that in order to make peace with and survive infidelity, I think that we have to forgive eventually, and that's not going to happen right away. I totally get that. There will come a time that you'll be willing to drop the resentment. I always think about carrying resentments as a 20-pound weight around our necks. And so if I'm carrying the resentment about what my spouse did to me, I'm the one that is suffering right now. I'm the one that's hurting and I'm the one carrying the weight, and I'm the only one that can take that weight off of myself. So you want to forgive so that you don't keep carrying the weight of that. Like, martyrdom and victimization will never feel good. It will never feel powerful. So you want to forgive, but you don't necessarily want to forget, because you now know something about your partner and what they're capable of that you did not know before. And I think that's important information. It might help you establish different boundaries together. It might help you understand one another a little better. It might help you understand how best to engage with one another. So forgive, yes, all day long, when the time is right. Forget, maybe just making peace with what has happened is the way that you can survive infidelity. I hope that that was helpful to you. If it was, please be sure to subscribe to this channel, because I come out with new content all the time to help you get clarity about whether or not your marriage can be fixed and feel good again, or if the only answer is to lovingly release it, and how to do either of those things. Don't forget to click the red bell up in the right corner. That way, every time I post a video, you will get notified. And lastly, if you are ready to get the clarity that you need for your answer, your life, your heart, your marriage, go to www.clarityformymarriage.com, and I'll see you there. Take good care.